scrutiny from all sides. A group of 72 Republican lawmakers signed a letter this week opposing any tax increases at all. But also this week, a group of millionaires traveled to Washington and said, go ahead and raise my taxes. It is what America needs. Daniel Berger is part of that group, Patriotic Millionaires for Fiscal Strength. He's an attorney in Philadelphia, and he is in the 1% that we've all been talking about of late. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to be here, Alex.
You want to have your taxes raised?
Well, we're willing to have our taxes raised as part of a program that applies to everybody, and basically for two reasons. First of all, the math involved. This would be the single most effective action that can be taken to deal with the deficit without a short-run economic downside. That's number one, and more importantly, it's really an issue of fundamental fairness. You know, this proposal has been attacked as against free enterprise and against the cultural values of work and self-reliance, but that's not true. It's really an issue of fundamental fairness. The rich pay, and when I talk about the rich, you have to understand that that's basically the top 1%, and that basically corresponds to the top. To the persons who earn $1 million a year or more. And they pay somewhat more in taxes, but they make disproportionately more, even taking into account that they make more, that they pay disproportionately more in taxes. So and you can illustrate this with a simple question. Would you rather pay 70% more in taxes if you would have an opportunity to make 1,500 to 5,000% more, and that's what the 1% is facing.
So
the answer is obvious.
You're just being altruistic, and you're out there. We're here. We're going to be the champions and save the country. You're doing it because, in effect, the way you do the math, you invest now in certain things, and it gives the opportunity for growth for the country as a whole, and thereby your businesses.
Well, on the fairness point, it's really this: that you know, even though we would pay a little bit more, we make disproportionately more, and that's an indication that the relative tax burden does not rest on the 1% or on the rich, but on other income classes. So the rich pay, the 1% pay a lot in income taxes because they have a lot in income, but they make disproportionately more than other people. So from the fairness, it's a strong indication that the relative burden applies to other tax groups other than the 1%. On the policy issue that you're raising, if you want to solve the problem of the deficit, the single most important thing you can do would be to raise taxes. And remember, this is a very limited proposal. The proposal just says it's not confiscatory. Don't take a large share. All it does is say return the tax rates from where they are now at 35% to where they were during the Clinton years, which was 39.6%. That represents a 4.6 percentage point increase, or a 13% increase.
All right, I want to talk about what you are. You are a class action attorney, a successful one at that. And the Philadelphia Inquirer, where you live, notes that you've given about $300,000 or so to Democratic liberal causes since the beginning of the president's term. Do you think that millionaires from both parties, from the left, from the right, do they agree on this proposal, or is this merely those on the left who you think are coalescing around this concept?
Well, I think there's a lot of support among affluent people who are progressive in outlook. There's also a lot of opposition. I'll be candid with you, because there are people who have different points of view and who follow different social, political, and economic values. I don't expect that the Koch brothers, who are right-wing extremists and who believe that naked self-interest drives the economy, and that's an engine for or a force for good. I don't believe that they would agree with this. But I don't think naked self-interest is really another word for greed, and I don't think that greed really represents heart and soul of America.
All right. Well, Daniel Berger apparently does not represent your heart and soul. We thank you for joining us here.
Thank you.
So, can the Deficit Super Committee come up with a plan